My name is Ben Bienstag, and I'm an organizer with Brown Students for Bernie and Brown Students for Justice in Palestine and Brown Jewish Voice for Peace. I am excited to be here today not only to introduce one of our keynote speakers, the amazing Linda Sarsour, but also to tell you a bit about me and why I'm fighting for Bernie Sanders to win the Democratic nomination for president. I'm a Jewish New Yorker, and just like Bernie Sanders' family, my grandparents and great-grandparents came to New York City to escape anti-Semitic pogroms in Eastern Europe and later the rise of the Nazis. My family raised me to believe that being Jewish and being part of a tradition of resistance, resilience, triumph, and sorrow compels me to look outside myself to care and fight for all those who are suffering just as much as I care and fight for myself and my Jewish siblings. Over the last few years, across the country and around the world, we've witnessed the terrifying rise in anti-Semitic violence. This summer, I was at the Wyatt Detention Center in Central Falls on the night when a prison guard drove his truck into my friends, mostly Jews, protesting the Wyatt's collaboration with ICE to detain undocumented immigrants. In my home state of New York, Orthodox Jews have been targeted on the streets and at synagogues. Now, as we in this room all know, anti-Semitic violence and the racist criminal legal system are both part of the same system of white supremacy. But despite that fact, some politicians and leaders in New York are trying to exploit the fears of Jewish communities by using the attacks as an opportunity to target Black and brown New Yorkers by pushing for the rollback of reforms that eliminated cash bail. Progressive Jews are fighting back against this racism, and we're lucky to have on our side as powerful an organizer and ally as Linda Sarsour, who has been on the front lines with Jewish communities in New York and across the country to make clear that to defeat racism, anti-Semitism, and all oppression, Jews cannot turn on other marginalized communities. We must find safety and strength in solidarity. No other candidate for president understands the power of solidarity like Bernie Sanders. And as you've heard from multiple people tonight, that's because Bernie Sanders isn't running a campaign for president, he's helping to lead a movement. Real change is never going to come from within the halls of Congress or from the minds of well-meaning politicians. Bernie understands that power should reside with working people, and that real change can only happen when people join together in a mass movement and take inequality and oppression head on. When I'm not at Brown, I work at the George Wiley Center in Pawtucket, where low-income people come together every week to build power to fight back against poverty and National Grid's exploitation and utility shutoffs. The power of people at the George Wiley Center fighting for the percentage income payment plan is the same people power that is going to win the Green New Deal when we elect Bernie Sanders. When I heard Linda speak a few months ago at Brown, she said something that stuck with me. She said that she told Bernie that she's with him 100%, but on day one of his presidency, she's going to be outside the White House with a picket sign, making sure he lives up to the movement that put him there. And I think that all of us here can agree that Bernie Sanders is sincere in his support of Medicare for all, free college tuition, universal student medical debt elimination, putting an immediate end to deportations on day one of his administration, creating workplace democracy, ending the abuses of billionaires, corporations, and big banks, and fighting climate change to create a livable future. But it's our job as a movement to stay in solidarity with each other and make sure that he and every other elected official in Washington knows that we won't give up until we win all of those demands. That's right. And that's the kind of change that Bernie believes in. That's the kind of power that this movement is building. When I see Bernie running for president as a proudly Jewish candidate, I'm inspired. Bernie and I share in a tradition of Jewishness that teaches us that we cannot turn our backs on people who are suffering, that we must fight alongside all oppressed people. That none of us will be free until all of us are free. That the struggles of poor and working class people, of Black and brown people, of queer people, of all oppressed people are also our struggles as Jews. Because our Jewish communities are also poor and working class, Black and brown, queer and trans. And because all these systems of oppression that keep us from being free are linked. And for me, that's why it's especially inspiring to hear Bernie extend this solidarity when he says the struggle against anti-Semitism is also the struggle for Palestinian freedom. And so now it's my